I did not think that I was going to be uploading a YouTube video this week. I couldn't have spent more time over the past couple of days prepping the house and my life and just everything for the arrival of baby number 2, my new daughter that has come in next month. That feels wild to be able to say. I can officially say next month now. It's currently November the 1st and 11:57 PM in the evening. I did not think that I was going to be filming a YouTube video this week, let alone nearly at midnight tonight. Zoe and I have just finished moving all of Ottie's stuff into her new bedroom. Over the last couple of days we've had a painter and decorator in, decorating her new bedroom ready for her, and then tonight she's staying at my parents so that we could switch everything over whilst she's not here. But yeah, it feels kind of like the end of an era. She's not in her first bedroom anymore. So yeah, very busy, very exciting, lots of stuff going on in the house at the moment, but I definitely didn't think that I was going to have time to film a YouTube video this week. And as I jumped in the shower, I said to Zoe, I was like, if I am going to film a YouTube video this week, right now this evening, even though it's already like past 11 o'clock, is the only time that I could possibly do it. And she was like, just go for it, just do it, like why not? So I've just had a shower. I got back dressed after the shower and just put on like some cozy clothes. So the other day I jumped on Instagram and I put one of those polls on the screen and I said, ask me any question you possibly have about anything in life and I'm going to answer a bunch in a vlog, which I was planning on doing next week, but here I am. I screenshotted a bunch a couple of days ago when I put the question up, and I'm not going to lie to you, I've forgotten what they were. I have literally no idea. I know just as much as you right now about what these questions are on my phone, so we're going to find out together. Oh, it's just gone past midnight. It's now November the 2nd, 1 minute past midnight. Let's just kick it off with one of the most popular questions that I've been asked, which is, when do you plan on getting married? This was one of the first things that Zoe and I discussed straight after I popped the question, straight after she said yes. And we were both like, and I'm glad we were both like it, let's just not do this anytime soon. Let's just soak up and enjoy being engaged. We're not in any rush to get married. I mean, if we were, we wouldn't, I wouldn't have waited 11 years to pop the old question. I don't think life could be any busier with Ottie, number 2 joining, work that we've got on. So to be realistic, I think we will probably get married when baby number 2 is probably like Ottie's age, maybe a little bit older. So probably we're looking at like 2.5 years, maybe 3 years time. Once family life of 4 is much more steady, we're in the flow, we've got less going on, and we can like proper put time and energy into obviously like planning the wedding and enjoying all of that process. Talking a couple of years, what's something you're proud of but never get to talk about? That's a good question. I never get to talk about. It's not that I never get to talk about it. It's just that I don't ever really talk about it. I'm not really into like bigging myself up or like talking in that kind of, yeah, it's just not really me. I think I juggle quite well and still give a lot of energy and time and everything I've got to all areas, and particularly Zoe and Ottie. But I think I juggle family life, future self clothing, future self coffee, all the Alfie Deyes stuff that I do, like this vlog and the brand partnerships, the investments I do. I think I juggle everything really well, but still give the right amount of time to the right areas, because it would be so easy to get caught up in like 1 or 2 of the things that I do. But I feel like, if I do say so myself, I feel like I give a good amount of time to the right things. And particularly when it comes to family life, like I put so much time and energy, and I love it more than anything. Who is the paid advertiser of today's video? I've spoken in, I don't even know how many vlogs over the years, about just how much therapy and me speaking with my therapist has bettered my life in literally, I mean, all the aspects that I just spoke about in like my personal life, my work life, my hobbies, my friendships, my relationships, being a dad, just every area of my life has massively improved by speaking to my therapist. So BetterHelp connects you with a credentialed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easy because it's online, it's remote, and just by answering a couple of simple questions, you can be matched with a therapist in as little as a couple of days. And one of my favorite things that I've mentioned before is that if the first therapist that you're matched with isn't right for you, and that's common, that's like a normal thing that can happen in therapy, then you can switch your therapist out to a new one, and there is no additional cost for this at all. Obviously, convenience is another big thing when it comes to therapy, so you can schedule your calls for when works with you. And as well as that, if you're more comfortable in a certain way of communicating with your therapist, then that's all good as well, because with BetterHelp you can either do a video call, which is what I do with my therapist, a phone call, or also just simply just messaging as well. So whatever is most comfortable for you, you can just do that. I've said this before in videos, but people spend hours in the gym working on their body, and I think it's so important for us to also put time into working on our mind. There are over 4 million people that have used BetterHelp to start living a healthier, happier life. It's easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist, and if you use my link, I'll put it on the screen here, and I'll also put it down below. You'll get 10% off your first month's therapy. Sorry, my camera battery just ran out. I was about to say, I cannot talk about just how beneficial the benefits of having therapy has been on my life. I'll put a link on the screen here and down below. 10% off of your first month's therapy. What's the key for a long-lasting relationship? Now, historically, I'd say I'm probably not the right person to ask this, and I'm still probably not, because I've only had one relationship, or one like proper relationship. However, I'm an engaged man. So maybe I do have the keys, maybe I've got all the wisdom, or maybe I don't, and I just got incredibly lucky with Zoe. We'll never know. I think firstly is being able to like see the future together, and then always bearing that in mind, because you're gonna come up against day-to-day arguments or disagreements or whatever it might be, week to week, month to month even. But if you've got the same like vision for life, and you see that being together, and you've got the same things in mind, and like the same, yeah, it doesn't have to be like hobbies or interests, but just like goals in life, you see your future together, then always knowing that and having that in the back of your mind is so important whenever those tricky moments or things or whatever it is pops up, because you know that long term, you're both together, you both want the same thing, you're in it together, you're a team. I think that's another thing, just seeing everything as like a team view. And then secondly, is just honesty, being like incredibly open, incredibly honest, not keeping anything back, which just allows you at all given times to just like relax, because you know what your partner's thinking, you know what they're feeling, you know if something's up, you know if something's not up. And I think that's where Zoe and I are so strong, is that like the future we see is only together, and also the values that we have in life, like going forward, is also joint. And then also we're just incredibly like open and honest with each other, and we just tell each other anything and everything at all given times, and always have done. I got so many questions like this one here, and I don't know why. I don't know if there's something that I've posted recently that's like sparked it. What are the next house projects? I don't want any more house projects. I don't want any more projects in life other than baby number 2. I feel like, you know, a minute ago when I said that my balance between everything is just like incredibly good and I'm proud of myself. If I add any more projects to that list, things are gonna start getting unbalanced, and then I'll be not proud of them. So hopefully not any more house projects. That would be the dream right now for at least the next 18 months. I don't want any more projects in life for the next, other than baby number 2, for the next 18 months. I want less projects. I want to do less. I'm simplifying so many things like I've spoken about. The only thing, if I was going to name one, because there is one thing actually, one project that I do want to do, not in the next 18 months though. I would love to put some time into a garden renovation. We did such a big renovation to the house when we first purchased it, but we never really touched the garden. That's the one thing I'd love to do. Switch up the garden a bunch, create some nice little areas, maybe put some like swings in, some like climbing frame bits, revamp and like upgrade the veg patches, maybe have like a bit of a bigger veg garden. So I'm getting excited now. See, this is why I can't think of more projects, because now it's already 35 minutes past midnight. Now I'm going to want to get into bed in a minute and start planning out my garden renovation. Did you secretly hope your next child was going to be a boy? That is a good question, and something that I don't think I've discussed online, and I've been asked it literally non-stop ever since we announced having a second daughter. It's not just did I hope that my second child was a boy, I also get asked so much. Do you think you're gonna try again for a boy? Do you think you're gonna go for 3 kids and then try for a boy? Do you think you're gonna go for a boy again? Like, that's not quite. Maybe you're not familiar. but that's not quite how it works. You don't try for a boy, you don't try for a girl. These are both things that are out of your control. But to answer your question, I genuinely, and I'm being 100% honest, like I promise you I'm not lying, I am so excited to be having 2 girls. Like, if I'm being really honest with you for a minute, and there's no reason why I wouldn't be, obviously my sister Poppy is the older sister and I'm the younger brother. Got Zoe, the older sister, younger brother Joe. All my cousins are boy and girl. I'm pretty sure all of Zoe's cousins, I think they all are all boy and girl as well. So like, ever since I've been with Zoe, I've always just assumed that we were gonna have one of each if we were to have 2 children. I've always just thought it was gonna be one of each. And then obviously when we had Otti, I was like, number 2, if we do have a number 2, is definitely just gonna be a boy, because going off of the historical family like data, I suppose, we're gonna have a boy because that's just what our families do. Obviously that's not how it works. And then when we found out that we were having a second girl, I promise you, I was so excited, and so is Zoe as well. And then I kind of like zoomed out for a second. I have just always seen myself as a girl dad. Like when I'm on holiday and I see a dad with multiple daughters, or when I'm like in the coffee shop and I see a dad with 2 daughters, or in the park, that's me. Like, that's how I see myself. That is my life. That to be happening now sounds weird to say, but it just makes sense. And I feel like if Zoe and I, which I don't think we are, but if we were to ever try for a 3rd child, I currently feel like it would just be a girl. And I think because I just love Otti so incredibly much, and I've just enjoyed every second of being a dad with her, the thought of doing all of that again with another daughter is just like legit the most exciting thing ever. I'm just looking back through the questions now, and it's so weird that literally 20 minutes or so ago I was talking about the fact that Zoe and I were just redoing Otti's room and the new baby's room, and there are so many of you asking if we're going to be documenting the process of Otti's new room and the baby's room. I just scrolled past like 5 or 6 people asking that question. I did film some little bits a minute ago, and I think Zoe's going to be filming some bits too, obviously. So yeah, we will film probably just within like normal vlogs. We're going to film parts of doing up the 2 rooms, but they're still going to be like being done over the next couple of weeks. So probably you might get a little bit in next week's video, and then maybe some bits in the week after, or we're going to be filming bits and then probably just like slot them into videos as and when videos go up. It's currently 10 to 1 in the morning, and I've got to be up tomorrow at 6. So I should probably have this as the last question. And it's a good one as well. This is one that's been asked a lot. Have you picked a baby name yet? I wish the answer was yes. Like, I really do. There was a name that Zoe and I absolutely loved, and we were obsessed with it. And for about probably like a week or so, we were both pretty set that that was the name. And I don't know what it was that changed it, but about a week or so later, we were both just like, that's not the name. Like, that's not her name. And I don't know how to describe it, because obviously we've not met her yet, we haven't seen her yet, but we both just randomly now feel that that's not her name. And we don't have another name in place. Like, I think that's the hard thing with having 2 daughters, is that our absolute favourite name at the time we used for Ottilie. Like, we've used that name, and now we're like building up a new list of names, because we don't want to use one from the previous list of like, oh, this was our 2nd favourite name. But then at the same time, I kind of do want the names Ottilie and then the new baby's name to like sound good together. But then I zoom out and I remind myself that like, I'm naming 2 adults here. I'm naming 2 like 30-year-old women in the future, 40-year-old women, 50-year-old women in the future. I'm not naming 2 sisters that are children, and that I'm gonna like say the names together a lot, because in the future, obviously, they'll be out there in the world doing their own thing with their own families or whatever. Like, they're gonna be their own individuals. So I don't want to focus of Zoe and I like trying to make the names sound good together too much, because it's not about that. We're naming 2 adults for the majority of their lives. It's just a big responsibility, and there's no right or wrong. So I wish I was currently sitting here like, yeah, got it sorted, got a name locked in, we both absolutely love it. But that's just not the case. There are names that we both love, and there are like styles of names that we both really love, but we don't have the name. And time's ticking away. Like, time is ticking away. She's gonna be here next month. Yo, that's crazy. Next month. She's gonna be here next month. That is so wild to think about. Yo, we need to get thinking of a name. Oh my gosh. Right, I'm gonna end off the vlog here. It is currently 6 minutes to 1 in the morning. I really appreciate you watching this video. I have no idea how long it is. There's probably 4 of you still watching. If you are, comment down below saying big love. Comment the words big love down below if you're still watching. Give the video a thumbs up as well whilst you're here. As I said earlier, the paid advertiser of this video is BetterHelp. I'll put the link on the screen again. Definitely go check them out down below. Again, I really appreciate you watching. I'll see you next week with hopefully a new video if I get a little bit more time in my week. I have been filming bits, but I just need to get the time to put it all together and everything. So yeah, I appreciate you watching. I'll catch you soon.